is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. I do want to follow up on the video I did yesterday about the Black American Indians, because I feel like I need to give one sector of that group credit for who they are. Down here in the South, they have Indian reservations, and I have a friend who has taught on an Indian reservation in Mississippi. On that reservation are people who look like us. They are genetically African, but culturally they are native. They have lived among the native people from the beginning. They know the language, they know the customs and traditions, and they are a part of the native culture. These people are not fighting on the internet trying to confront us and force everybody to say that they're Indians. There are also Black Americans whose family members lived among the indigenous people, but they don't have tribal membership. They had membership at one time, but when the money started coming in, those tribal leaders, they rewrote the rules of tribal membership and kicked the Black people out. These people are African descended. They acknowledge their African ancestry, but their experience was with those native tribes. They had enslaved these people's ancestors. They were a part of the Indian Removal Act, the Trail of Tears, when they ran all those native people from North Carolina all the way down out there to Oklahoma. There were African descended people that were a part of those tribes. They were a part of the Trail of Tears. They lived among those people for years, and then all of a sudden they changed the rules of membership and kicked them out. These are the people who are going to court and winning. These people also wanted to be known that they are of African descent, and whereas they are proud of their African ancestry, they are due membership in those tribes to get the resources from those tribes that they deserve. As quietly as it's kept, Indians are getting all kinds of reparations from the government. Government contracts, cash payments, and do y'all know that they don't pay taxes? No. Wouldn't that be a great break to not have to pay taxes? So they're fighting for their right to be Indians because they were taken advantage of. So, see, nobody calls it reparations when other people are getting it. They don't call it a freebie when it's somebody else. They're entitled to it, but when it's Black Americans, oh, we're looking for a handout. No, we're owed this. But anyway, back to the subject. These people want to get what they deserve, what they have earned, what their ancestors earned. They want their benefits too, and I don't blame them. But they're not running around here saying they aren't African descended like these people on the internet. I want to make this distinction. But they have documentation that they have lived among the indigenous people, and they are entitled to the benefits and the resources that the indigenous people are given. But being granted membership in those tribes after you've been kicked out is not easy. Sometimes they go before the indigenous nations and they're accepted. Sometimes the nations won't accept them and they go to the federal court, and the federal court overlooks their documentation to evaluate their claim. And if the documentation is in place and that they can prove that their ancestors lived among those tribes, federal government will grant them that membership, because it's really all about money when it comes down to it, because many of these Black people have moved on and made successful lives for themselves, just like many of us have. But that doesn't negate the fact that you were robbed and you want to be paid. Federal courts will override the tribal courts. And I'm glad we cleared it up about the slave ships. Those ships were made of wood based on several of your comments and verified by Bing, an internet source. So those ships weren't built to last forever. For further clarity, let's compare the slave ships with the Titanic. The Titanic was built out of iron and steel, and when it was found 73 years after it sank, it had broken in half. Remember now, made out of iron and steel, but it had broken in half. This is what it looked like. When the Titanic was found, its condition was already severely deteriorated due to the harsh conditions of the deep sea. The ocean liner, which sank in 1912 after hitting an iceberg, has been exposed to salt corrosion and metal-eating bacteria over the years. As a result, it has experienced significant decay. In fact, some experts predict that the Titanic could vanish entirely within a matter of decades as holes from its hull and sections deteriorate. So, if a ship that was made out of iron and steel is severely deteriorated after 73 years, what in the heck do you think would happen to a ship made out of wood 250 to 300 years later? You know, some people just aren't nearly as smart as they think they are, but it's important to add other voices to their discourse. And we have information too. My point for making this video was to acknowledge that there are Black Americans who are actually Black Indians who lived among the Indians and were a part of those tribes until they got kicked out. And now they are petitioning for their membership to be reinstated in those tribes because they are deserving of anything, any resources that those tribes receive from the government. So they are advocating for themselves, but they are doing it the right way. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.